Hi, I'm Sherry Robinson. I grew up in Denver, Colorado, although I've spent half of my life in New Mexico. And I am a freelance journalist and an author in Albuquerque. You really have to know who you're writing for because every outlet has a different demand and a different audience. A little trick I learned early on was a friend of mine. This was when I was a business journalist at the Albuquerque Journal. And a friend of mine said, I'm interested in business, but I don't know all of the technical parts, but I'd like to be able to read the business section. And so write to me, she said. And and that became very easy. So then when I sat down to my computer, I would write a story for my friend Nina, and it helps if you have a face in front of you when you work. Fun part of working on a book really is the research, the information gathering. I love that part of it. It's like a giant treasure hunt, and only instead of gold coins, you're after information. And there are times when I'll find something when I want to jump out of my chair and yell "Eureka!" Um, or do a little dance or something because I've just had some kind of breakthrough. But I love the research. The work part is when I have to take all of that information and organize it and write it. I have to make it interesting to people, which I think comes fairly easy to journalists because we are trained to write for everyone. Um, we're not academics, and they write much differently than we do. I started at age 13. From then on, I was hooked, and I'll tell you why. I was a very shy kid, and being a reporter, even for a junior high school newspaper, I had an excuse to walk up to anybody and ask them questions, and it was a wonderful thing, and also it was interesting, and I was a naturally curious kid anyway. And later on, I was talking to some of my coworkers in the newsroom, and mentioned that, and I discovered that a lot of journalists were shy kids. And then when I had the degree, then I got a job for the Albuquerque Journal. So that was a big moment for me. I started, however, before all of that, and when I still did not have a degree, I started as a reporter at Uranium Empire, um, the Uranium Empire Reporter in Grants. And what got me that job was that I was then freelancing for the Gallup Independent, and they had lost a reporter over there because nobody wanted to live in Grants. So they sent me over. I was freelancing for them, and and they said it was a Friday. They said deadline is Monday. Get anything you can. So what that meant was I drove around with my camera and took pictures because pictures are a great way to take up space. And while I was doing that, I drove out to Acoma Pueblo, and I was standing on the edge of the Pueblo looking out when a huge jet, which I later found out was a Navy jet Crusader, swooped over the Pueblo so low that the buildings shook. He curved around, he came back over a second time, and I got off 4 shots. Which included numbers on the tail. That opened investigation. The state aviation department got involved. Um, Acoma Pueblo had been having trouble for years with people flying over their pueblo during ceremonials, trying to see something that they were not supposed to see, I guess. And um, and so with that eliminated their air traffic problem for quite a while, and it got me a job. I wouldn't call high school an especially happy time for me. My parents' marriage was in the process of coming apart, and that was kind of awful. And I went to a high school that had an in group and out groups, and there were the membership of the out groups was much larger than the membership of the in groups, and I dealt with that by trying to be invisible. And but several really good things happened. I had three history teachers in a row who were fabulous, who brought history to life, who even made it funny, who were so interesting that we really looked forward to their classes, and that's a good teacher. I did come away with a lifelong dislike of phonies and snobs after going to this school, and that's still with me, along with a good dose of rebellion, and that's still with me. So if you're not the happiest person alive in your school and you don't much care for your school, don't worry about it. It'll pass and you'll live through it and you'll be a better person for it.